So these are my 3 productivity techniques to lead a community of over 10,000 subscribers on YouTube and also being a game developer. This is currently my YouTube channel, quite close to reaching 10k subscribers, and these are the games that I created completely on my own. Not only that, but also I've been a Godot course instructor and Game Maker course instructor for Zelda, one of the biggest programming and game development courses websites with over 300 courses and 1 million learners. And well, the first technique is basically planning in Notion. Now you should right away go and install Notion on your PC. If you see here 2 daily planners, this is the actual daily planner that I've got over here to organize myself, and this one is just a copy without the content, okay, because I do have some private stuff that unfortunately I cannot show. I will just delete these 2 groups because explaining their story there would be a little bit long. But basically here the key thing is that you get everything super organized. And this planning, okay, the key is that it is efficient, okay, because maybe you have a plan before throughout your life, but maybe you haven't been doing it as efficiently as possible. So my techniques for actually efficiently planning are these 3. Firstly, it must be done the night before. You have to wake up in the morning in the next day and know right away what you should be doing. So for example, over here I have these chunks over here, basically during super early in the morning, after having lunch and dinner, okay? So I have everything sectioned between the different parts of the day, and let's say that I have here different tasks that I can add, and I know that, for example, before having breakfast at usually 7:30 AM, I must have done these tasks by them. The same thing whatever I add over here. If I add here these 2 tasks, they must be done before lunchtime. This really helps you actually be productive, because if you don't do this, basically if you do not plan the night before, your daily planning will look like this and you don't know where to start. And because of this, because you don't know where to start, how to start, or on what exactly you should be focusing first, you start procrastinating, okay? So you always have to know, okay, I want to wake up and before I have breakfast, for example, I want to have these tasks done. Then when I completed those, I have breakfast, let's say as a reward. Then I do these other tasks, and when I complete them, I have lunch. After that, I continue working, maybe I take a break, and then I have dinner, a snack, or whatever you do. So yes, indeed, the second thing to do efficient planning is to divide your tasks in time blocks. Because if you just have like your usual to-do list with do this, do that, etc., you don't really have like a time frame, a time limit to do that. So it's much better to just have, okay, yes, from 5 to 7:30 AM I must have done this. So this really helps you push your boundaries much more. Some people may like this, some people, you may like this, you may not like this, but well, the key is to find a system that actually makes you productive. Having everything super structured, I love it, and really helps me get everything out of the day. And finally, you have to be specific about the task that you have to complete. Because for example, if you say, okay, 5 to 7:30 AM, I will just work on my game, okay? And you say, okay, yes, that's correct. Now, what is exactly working on the game? It is super big, okay? So you have to be more specific. For example, you can say implement sound effects, add player movement, etc. Okay, well, you shouldn't add etc, but you understand what I mean. So this is how it should look, your first block, not like this. Okay, you shouldn't be, you have to be specific, okay? Because if not, you say, okay, work on my game. What part exactly? What do I implement? And an amazing way of doing this is to also have another page. In this case, it is a personal project that I have and I'm planning on updating. It's to have your project, let's say, with a similar database, basically with another board view. And I also have here 4 sections: icebox, backlog, to implement, test, and also no section that is for finished tasks. So icebox are things that I do want to implement but are secondary, are things that maybe I'm going to be implementing if I have the time and resources and mind for that. If not, it is not going to be a nightmare. Then backlog are things that I do want to implement, but well, I am currently focusing on other stuff. For example, here I am focusing currently on these 4 features, so I'm currently working on this. When I finish them, I will move them to test, and when everything is tested and nicely working, I will just put them in the notes section group. So for example, if you have this, I could say, okay, tomorrow morning I want to work on this, okay, then I also want to work on this, and there you've got everything nicely organized. And now, besides having these time chunks, if we can call them like that, I also have 3 other sections. This one is for social events that do have a date, that's why I have those emojis. So for example, if I have the birthday of a family member, if I'm going out with friends or whoever, so everything goes like here. For example, let's say that I have here a birthday of somebody, it doesn't matter. I can actually put here the deadline, where the date in which this is happening. For example, I know 31 of October, of October, and then in the calendar this will appear over here, okay? So everything is nicely synchronized. And this is for events that do have a date, that are not sociable, they are not related to social life, they are mostly related to work or anything like that. So for example, I have here a deadline of project. Let's say that I have to hand in something to a client, I would put it right here, let's say the 6th of November, and it will appear over here. So the calendar view is the exact same thing, just that it organizes the information differently to see it maybe better for when you just want to preview the dates. And this other section is basically for things that I do care about but don't have a specific date or deadline. For example, I don't know, I want to change the layout of my room, I want to change where my bed is. Those are things that I do care about but don't have like a specific deadline that I have to deal with. This is the system that I found that worked the best for me, but once again, you have to adapt this to your own, to what you like or you don't like, because maybe being so structured at first could be difficult. But well, at least try to have your own to-do list done before going to bed, and that will be a huge game changer for you. And as time goes by, you'll probably really like being maybe a little bit more organized, and you can come to a more complex system that like the one that I've got. And by the way, I've got this list viewer here because let's say that these 2 things have happened already, and I can go to a list and basically delete them maybe easier. Then something that was also a game changer for me was to start tracking my time. Literally 24 hours a day I'm tracking in what I'm spending time on. So this app is called Simple Time Tracker. There are much more that you can use, but this is the most minimalistic that I found. So for example, I don't know why the activity right now changed to daily planner, but right now I was supposed to be on Letta, so let me quickly change this. So there you go. So in this first tab you have all your different activities that you may do on your daily life or weekly or even monthly, but I've got literally everything that I do here. So this is 24 running on the background and counting the time. You may also see that all of them are color coded. I call the ones in blue, the ones on the top, detox, or well, or basically health. Okay, oh, I changed the timer again. I call them health because they are mostly related to physical health or mental health in general. Then the ones in green, I call them just like surviving, okay, basic things such as going to a bathroom, food, doing household chores, etc. Then the brown ones are related to like formal studies. The first one is basically the English Institute to which I go, and then the fourth one, the one in red, it's basically the ones that have to do with working. And the good thing about this is that if you scroll to the right, well, here you see like the summary of the day currently. And then here I have everything categorized. So on survival I have spent like 6 hours that I have been sleeping, having breakfast or whatever. Then I have pure productivity, this is what is related to work, and I have got over 2 hours of health because basically I have been ill. Okay, so I also had to count like that rest time that I got. So basically with this you will actually be able to see how productive you are or not being. If you're able to track this 24/7, you're going to be able to, for example, go here and you will be able to go to the last 7 days And you will say, okay, in the last 7 days I have spent over 35 hours working, 25 hours working on my health, 22 hours on formal studies, etc. And if here you see that, for example, you have spent a lot of time on survival, okay, it means that, for example, you have spent like a super long time having your different foods. Maybe you spend like 2 hours because you are talking a lot with your parents, with your partner, with whoever. So maybe you can try to fix that. Maybe you are sleeping like 12 hours a day, so it is quite useful in these cases. So yeah, this is something that, once again, a lot of people may not like, and at first it is going to be complicated to actually create the habit of every time that you switch up a task that you have to actually change here the task that you are doing, because of course all of this is manual. But well, trust me that at the end of the day, everything, it is worth it. And as you saw, if at any time you started the task that you didn't want to start, you can hold down there, and here in activity you can actually change the activity that you are doing. Or even here, if here you tracked something that is wrong, for example, here I was 23 minutes in the bathroom because I was taking a shower. Let's say that here I wasn't taking a shower, I was working or something like that because I pressed the task wrongly. I am going to be able to change this, as well as, for example, changing here the times, okay, the start and the end. And also, you don't have to change this like every 5 minutes. Let's say that I'm recording here and I want to go to a bathroom for just like 1 minute. I don't really have to track that minute that I'm not working, or if I want to take a break of 5 minutes. But if I finish recording everything that I had to record and I'm moving to having lunch, to taking a bath, or to whatever else, and that activity may take like 10-15 minutes or more, I do track it over here. But well, once again, you have to find the system that best works for you. And lastly, something that really helped me was having good health habits. These are things that probably you already know, but maybe you're not doing them all. So obviously I wanted to share some with you. For example, having a balanced diet. This really changes a lot your energy, because you probably have already heard this in your life, but until you start applying this, you will not notice the difference. Your body needs food in order to work properly, but if that food that you put in, if that fuel that you put in is of bad quality, then your brain and everything won't work as it should. And this is not something that I say, it's something that you can ask to any doctor, or something that you can research online, and probably it's something that you have already been told by any kind of professional. So it really helps. The same thing happens with working out. Sometimes you don't have to be a bodybuilder or anything like that. You can do exercise 2, 3, 4 times a week, doing some sport, running, going to a gym, whatever. That really helps you actually being more productive. As developers, we are always being sat in the exact same position for hours, so we must move ourselves. And then, for example, another thing super important is drinking 2 liters of water a day, maybe more, maybe less. I'm not a doctor, so you should consult yourself. And something that really helps me is drinking half a liter as soon as I wake up, so because that really helps you start functioning your body and your brain, because all your body is mostly water. So this really helps deal with dehydration that you got during sleeping for something like 6, 7, 8 hours. And talking about sleep, you must rest well, something like 7, 8 hours, maybe more, maybe less. So if all this have been helpful and you want to become more productive and want more game development content, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. See you in the next one, and bye bye.